Hello, I'm just going to have a rant and rave, and I'm also going to just talk about a few of the different things. Hypervision, AIO, I'm still changing, messing around with the screen, and at this moment in time, I'll still go by my thing of it's the best AIO I have owned, and I've had about 12. That's Corsair, Deepcool, uh, some random different companies. I think EVGA, I can't even remember all the different ones I've had over the years. I think I've had ones off most of the name companies, Be Quiet and stuff. But the last one I had, which was the Deepcool LT720, was my second favourite. Wasn't necessarily the best looking. Yeah, it was nice looking, but the performance was really good on it. This one is astounding. It looks great. Firmware is great. Everything runs the way it should do. Pump, if you leave it set to what I've explained on previous videos, it's really quiet, and the screen and software and everything is just excellent. So if you can, I highly recommend you get one of these. That's my experience. That's not to say that you won't get one, it won't burn your house down. I'm just saying that's just how PCs roll and the components. So as far as Nvidia screwing everything up, it's not only just the paper launches have gone wrong, it's the drivers. The one that came out, I think it was the 30th of January. If you're having any kind of issues at all that weren't there before, whether your PC's crashing more, you're getting more like timeouts, blue screens, anything like that, roll back to the one before. I think it's 566 something. And that one is fine. But this new one, which came out, say, the 30th of January, is absolute atrocious. I've seen it doing all sorts of horrible things to people's PCs. If you're not having a problem with it and everything's running great, don't worry about it. But if you are having something that's untoward that wasn't there before, roll back. I still can't believe Nvidia actually haven't pushed out hotfix or even another driver yet, because the amount of problems they have. But it was the one which they brought out to coincide for the 5000s and to help them do what they need to do, and it's rushed. Oh, there's something sadly wrong somewhere with it because it's atrocious. So yeah, if AMD can actually get their launch correct this time, because what they have a habit of doing is every time Nvidia drops the ball and something goes wrong and everyone waits for AMD to come out and correct that mistake, they end up screwing things up and they don't get any further. And we really do need AMD to do better, because if they don't, if AMD disappear from the whole GPU market, you're going to be left with Nvidia, what they want to give you and at the price they want to give you, and you're going to have to like it and lump it, and that's it. They'll just be untouchable, and it'll be horrible. So it seems strange, but even though I buy Nvidia products and I like Nvidia, I'm rooting for AMD to do really well, because it'll make Nvidia do better. Anyway, so not only is it hard to get hold of 5000s, drivers atrocious, but now we're getting the whole melting thing. Not a surprise at all. I'm trying to think, on Cyberpunk, I think the most I drew from that game was about 480 watts. I know if you're pushing your card higher and stuff, and mods, and you can pull more than that, but I mean, if you're going to call it 500 watts, that still gave you, because these cables are rated for 6, it still gave you that 100 watt kind of safety margin thing, where you weren't pushing the cable as high as they are. The 5000s are pushing over 500, so that safety margin is a lot less again. So of course, it's you're pushing that much heat through thin cables like that. It's going to happen. Yes, they've made improvements to the actual connector on there, but it's still a shed load of watts to be sticking through, and amps, should say, as well, going through the actual cables is going to happen. They have to get rid of one. It has to go to a 2 or 3. I understand they might not want to go back to the 8 pin, but 3 times, because of the amount of space it takes up. But at the same time, at the end of the day, these cards are getting bigger and bigger. They can make the boards bigger. Even if they're going to stick an extra 1.5 inches on the board to accommodate for 2 of these, or going back to the 3 pins, but it probably will end up being 2 of these, they can do it. They don't have to. The card sizes, especially in the third-party ones, they're even bigger. They can make the boards bigger. There's no reason not to do it. Although if they do it, they'll probably use it, obviously, as a reason to justify sticking God knows how much extra on the card. But it should be standard practice. There shouldn't be any kind of melting. It should be, like a white whale. It should never be happening. It should be a rarity, and it shouldn't be happening already. If it's happening on FE cards, or they're having problems with FE cards now, once the third-party cards release more and they get more out into the wild, which they draw even more power, you're going to start seeing it happening more and more. I don't know. For a company that has the money it has and the tech people that it has, it's astounding that they think that they can stick that much through just that one cable and things are going to be okay. But yeah, so yeah, hopefully with the 6000s there's going to be 2 of these. I can't see them trying to invent another connector. I think they will just go for 2 of these, and they will have to make the boards bigger, so we'll have to wait and see. Apart from that, the only other thing which I can think of is that when people are wanting to try and minimize this whole melting thing, obviously decent PSU, pushing the cable in correctly, not buying the cheapest cable that are on Amazon, get them from a reputable company if you are going to get a third-party cable. And FPS, I always cap FPS. Doesn't matter what card I've had, I always put a cap on it. I understand if you've got a high refresh monitor, you want to set it high, that's fair enough. But if you're playing on a 144 hertz OLED TV, there's no point, letting your GPU run wild. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but say your new fancy 5090s wanting to push 300 frames at 4K or whatever, bring it down. There's no point you burning through all that wattage for nothing you're going to actually gain on a TV that's going to be limited to 144 hertz. There's no point in letting it run wild. And the other things as well, and I'm trying to think of the game, I think it was New World, when that launched, or was it the beta, it had a problem where I think it was melting cards and doing all sorts of weird things to PCs, because in the menu there was no cap and it was going up to thousands of FPS and it was causing all sorts of problems. So I don't trust things like that happening. So anytime I've got a card, a high-end one or whatever, I always put a cap on there so I can let the card stretch its legs but not get too carried away. 1, it'll save money on the electricity, and 2, it's just a kind of a safety net where if somebody does release a game and there's something not right with it, instead of going away to go and make a cup of tea, a coffee, a meal or something, coming back and then finding something untowards happened because your card's been running at God knows how many frames per second, then I always put an FPS cap on there just for a safety net. The other thing which I have, which not everyone's going to be able to do, unfortunately, and it was something which I never thought I'd have to do, and it's silly, but I'm glad I can do it, is I have the MSI X670E Meg motherboard, and it's got 2, down the back of there, it's got 2 connectors for where you can put in temp sense cables. I have 2 of them coming off. I have one which goes into the fins of the GPU. So these are normally running really slow. They're only spinning because there's a game running. And basically, my fans are set so that they do pretty much nothing until these fins warm up. And that kind of tells my computer that I'm gaming, you need to speed up. And I've fine-tuned it and worked out over a period of a couple of weeks of how fast I want that to be. So that's what one of them does. The other one is sat on top of my GPU cable. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but it's in there. You can see it wrapped around there, down there. And what I did there is I played Cyberpunk maxed out for 2 hours, and I took the temperatures, because obviously you've got case temperatures in there, and then you've also got the temperature that comes down from the cable and the plastic. And the highest I hit was 49 degrees, and I use that as my base temp. So at the moment, until it hits summertime, that's the one that I'll take, as that's about as high as temps will go, because I think I was pulling about 460, 480 watts at times. Anything over that 49 isn't going to be unusual. So I have it hooked up to AIDA64, and I have it set an alarm for 52 degrees. So basically, if that warms up to 52, I'll get an alarm to tell me that this is getting hotter than what it was when I was playing Cyberpunk maxed out. It's unusual. The other one I have set, I think, is for 55 or 58 degrees, where it literally turns off the PC. Because if it hits that at this time of year, it basically means that something is probably got on the way of melting or getting way too hot. So again, it's not going to stop things from happening, but it's going to give me notification to either I need to have a look at it, or turn the PC off and save the card from obviously getting too far and melting. But again, unless your motherboard has those kind of things, unfortunately you won't be able to do that. But if you have got a motherboard that can do that, that's just something to think about, especially if you've got a brand new shiny 5090 and stuff like that. You want to do everything you can to preserve it. Apart from that, on the gaming side of things, Kingdom Come Deliverance. So that's why my GPU is up and running. And the other thing which I wanted to show, which is completely different, Paul Atreides. I do have other hobbies and collections and stuff that I'm into. This is just one of the ones. If anyone's watched any other videos, I've got obviously your Batman stuff and different films. I've got Cyberpunk, Johnny, and Jack Sparrow. I got a load of different ones. One of them days I'll show everything off. But this one, I even forgot I even had it coming. With a lot of them, you pre-order them, and some of these third-party companies take a long time for them to come out, and some of them don't even come out in the end. They get cancelled. But this one literally turned up today, and I was like, what the hell's in this box? And I opened it, was like, I forgot I even pre-ordered you. This actually comes out if you want to do that. And I am really shocked and surprised how well this has come out by this company called Org Toys. I'll try and give you a little spin. So yeah, this is all like removable. He's got a dagger thing in there. His still suit, whatever it is excellent. Really, really well done. This is really nice and layered. His crisp knife on there. Unfortunately, because this suit is quite tight, I don't want to push it any harder on that. That's about as far as you can really get his arm, because ideally that arm should be pointing straight up and he should be holding a knife there for like that iconic pose. One of the things I will probably do is try and get hold of a copper wire, like metal wire, copper wire, whatever. Depends what I've got lying around, and I'll put it in there. I'll drape it over, and it'll have it kind of like blown in the wind, kind of thing. Yeah, that's the base that comes with. One of the things I don't like is they put the footprints in. So if you want to have any more dynamic pose or change his legs, you're going to be able to see them. So that's just, it's a little nicky thing, but it's something which I wish it wasn't there, but I've got no choice in that one. I haven't got a clue what's just gone past the house, but really nice. And one of the things which they normally show off with the prototypes, and always a bit of a worry, is how the actual sculpt and the face and things will look. And they've done a really good job, and it's absolutely spot on. I'll mess about with actual poses and everything, but I'm really shocked and surprised how well they've actually done with this. And as for the extras, obviously they give you the little hands extra things which they normally do, extra pegs. Yeah, I forgot that as well. There's his face mask thing, really good. Slip, but yeah, really, really nice. Like I say, it's a pleasant surprise because I forgot I'd even ordered the thing. It's not the best light to be doing this. Unfortunately, it's not focusing all that great. For a third party, if someone had told me this is Hot Toys, I could well believe it. Anyway, I'm just going to ramble now. I'm going to go and mess around with my toys. See you later. Bye.